Twitter, hasn't it, over the last few days. The response to Angus Kinnear's interview was going along just nicely on Twitter until Andrea Radrizzani popped up in Lord Leeds' timeline, allegedly, and made a few comments. And it just makes me think that, you know, it's alright being silent for such a long time and then maybe knocking a few glasses of wine back and seeing what the reaction is on Twitter, and then suddenly you decide, oh, I'm going to knock a tweet out because I'm not quite happy about the content. In this video I'm going to discuss a few more things about Andrea Radrizzani coming up in this video. Hope you enjoy.
Watch along Leeds, shorts, live, and watch along with me, Leeds United, because we all love Leeds.
One of the things that Kinnear said during his interview was Andrea sold reluctantly in the end. He loved his association with Leeds for all sorts of reasons. Is there criticism that he could have sold earlier? Potentially. It is when you know you have taken the club as far as you can. In hindsight, if he'd sold after we stayed up on the final day at Brentford, his legacy would have been kept intact and a better financial decision. So this is one of the things that Kinnear's mentioned during the interview, to which Radrizzani has made a couple of statements, or he's made to which Radrizzani made a statement about the contracts debacle, and it just shows and highlights the utter chaos at Leeds when they've been probed during the square ball, and how different members of the board don't really know what roles they should be playing in terms of player contracts and who's responsible for what. And I find it very difficult to believe that the chairman of the time has literally denied knowing anything about the loan clauses, exit clauses built into certain players' contracts. And of course, Orta has been thrown under the bus by Radrizzani in the past online. We know a little bit about that. Let's see what Radrizzani had to say. So Lord Leeds begins by saying that Kinnear interview was very interesting, to which Andrea Radrizzani then responds with, and my good friend AK, Angus Kinnear, should have taken good responsibility of the contracts with exit clause, which I have never read as for many other contracts and company. That's why management is paid for. Yeah, I mean, I understand what he's saying. I work in an organisation where the chairman has the overall signatory on all sorts of decisions. One of those is, of course, the employee contracts. He's pretty much drafted those with his legal advisors as part of a team effort between themselves. And to think for a second that Radrizzani is not in the loop with any kind of player contract dealings, it seems to be a little bit baffling to me. On the other hand, you know, Orta was thought to be a little bit of a renegade at Leeds. He was doing things that perhaps he shouldn't have been doing, and one only thinks that perhaps he's not told Radrizzani the whole ins and outs of certain player contracts, or perhaps Radrizzani has been misinformed or just not left out of the loop completely when signing certain players and doing certain business for the club. And it just seems to me, if that's the case, you know, maybe he has been misled as such as a chairman. Radrizzani's side of the story might well be completely different. You know, when we talk about certain signings and certain business dealings, it would be interesting one day if he does decide to speak a little bit about what went on. As of today's date, though, on the 10th of September, Andrea Radrizzani's Twitter account has actually disappeared from Twitter, or X, should we say, the site formerly known as Twitter, and there's no sign or trace of Andrea Radrizzani. So has he privated his complete account, or has he deleted it? I'm not so sure. Perhaps anyone who might be interested or is a Sampdoria fan and has details about Andrea Radrizzani, is he popping up and communicating with you? It would be very interesting to hear from you, so obviously leave a comment there. What do you know about your new chairman? Is he communicating with you as the fans? Is he being in any meetings? How are you finding him, and how is he going so far with rescuing your club? I'm sure he probably has memoirs or notes about what was going on at Elland Road at the time, and his actual feelings and thoughts about the people in and around the club who were making decisions, and those people who, as he rightly says, are getting paid to make those decisions, and he just signs off on it. Some chairmen are very hands-off. They trust the people who they've got employed to do all the administrative day-to-day duties. Others prefer to be a little bit more hands-on, and that's how my chairman is at my organisation. And I regularly speak to him, have visits. He regularly asks how things are going, etc. And that just shows to me that perhaps there's been confusion at Elland Road. Perhaps Radrizzani's not really known what's going on, and it's all just been happening, and he's just trusted them and let them get on with it. But between, or even before Christmas last year, up until the moment came through that it was confirmed that the 49ers had taken over, we'd heard very little from Andrea Radrizzani, just the odd statement here and there, nothing too much to tell us a little bit more in depth about the club's inner workings and dealings. And now obviously the 49ers are in charge. I think they're going to be a little bit wary now about Angus Kinnear. Certainly if what the former chairman is saying is true, that they're going to have to be on the guard about Angus Kinnear and seeing or taking more of an interest in his role at the club. And obviously if he's putting the club in any kind of situation that could cause damage on the club, Angus Kinnear is going to be up for certainly some very tough questions, I think, from Parag and of course the investors, should anything happen down the line in the months and years ahead, depending on how long their interest in Leeds United continues. And hopefully it continues for a number of years ahead. Certainly Kinnear said that they've got some great plans about the stadiums, the training facilities, etc. But we've heard all of that before with the previous chairman, and look at what's being done in terms of development of the overall club assets, not very much. So here's to touching wood, holding our breath, and let's see how the 49ers get on. Let's give them all a chance, let's back them. But a little word of warning there about Kinnear. They need to be very careful about him as an operator, and making sure that obviously he's not doing anything to cause detriment to Leeds United. Right, well, of course the next game is Millwall. I'll be doing a watch along for that, so it'll get scheduled in very shortly. In the meantime, perhaps you want to watch any more content on my channel, here's a recommendation for you. Or you want to subscribe and you're new around here, the little subscribe button up there, I know you want to press that one, so thanks, very good. Marching on together, have a great day, and I'll see you all very soon.